Welcome back to On Assignment for Alignment with your girl, Aya Naima. And today I'm going to talk to you about what it is like when you are destined for greatness, because I feel that when you are destined for greatness, I know for a fact that when you're destined for greatness, you're going to be put through a lot of tests. And you can pass those tests if you know what to look for and what to focus on. I had to learn how to embrace that I know who I am. I have a presence on me that when I walk into a room, you can tell that I got my shit together. And the thing about it is that when you peel the layers back and you sit down and you talk to me, you also realize that it's not just a look. It's not just something that I fucking cosplay. That's truly who I am in my spirit. I have my shit together. I'm very accountable and I have a mission in this life and I got shit to do. And you can see that on me. And I feel when you are that type of woman, you have to know that that's the type of presence that you carry. You can't walk around in the world blindly thinking that everyone is just passively experiencing, boo. They taking it in deeply. I love that my presence is felt. That's actually how I choose the company that I'm going to be with. When I see other queens that's on the same type of time as me, they have a mission, they got shit to do, they have a purpose, they live purposefully in everything that they do. Those are the type of people that I want to be in company with. I had to learn how to stop taking things personally and just moving accordingly in my 20s. I feel like in my 20s, I took being excluded so personally to the point where it made me isolate out of fear and being able to cope with feeling not loved. Then it really got sad for me when I started to make content. That's when I first started to notice that there were people around me that secretly didn't like me. I'm like confused as to why people that claim to fuck with me is not supporting my shit. Then when I bought my house, I started to notice that people that claim to fuck with me and love me didn't congratulate me. And I'm going to be all the way honest with you. I can respect a bitch that falls back and deal with their own personal feelings and their own feelings of jealousy and envy. I understand it. Trust me, we're going to get there, okay? But what I don't respect is somebody being in my life and mistreating me due to their own feelings of inadequacy. Then when I started my podcast in 2022, it got real spooky in the chat. I swear to God, I'm not even joking. When it comes to BPD, being in relationship with people and then figuring out that they secretly hate you will send you into fucking psychosis. And that is what it was doing to me. I started to think I was crazy. I'm like, why the fuck is everybody skipping over me when it comes to support, but they supporting everybody the fuck else? Then to me, it's not adding up because how the fuck you supporting everybody else creative endeavors but mine, but you calling me when you need something? Actually, go ask them bitches you got so much support for, because I don't got shit for you, boo. That type of shit was so draining and exhausting, because don't come around me playing with my fucking feelings, because I don't do shit in this life half-hearted. Every title that I carry in this life, I take it very seriously. Friend, sister, daughter, granddaughter, auntie. Auntie is one of my favorite titles, okay? Businesswoman. I take girlfriend. I take all of my motherfucking titles very seriously. Then this year, I learned about Niccolo Machiavelli. And I learned that people ignore your successes and your progress when they are envious. And my thing is, I understand that. Like I mentioned before, I have dealt with my own feelings of jealousy and envy. I remember being in college and seeing everybody get their accolades, get their internships, and I'm just feeling so stuck because I couldn't get out of my own mental health issues. I didn't understand how to move beyond that, and that made me feel less than myself. So I went ghost, bitch, and I got out. I left school and I moved on with my life and I did other things. And I had to do that because when you are in a space where you can't even congratulate other people, you need to go within. We have to understand that we aren't bad people for feeling jealousy and envy. When you start to be a bad person is when you allow jealousy and envy to harden your heart and be hateful towards other people and make them feel less than what the fuck they are, especially when they are embracing you and pouring into you. Don't be like that. You don't gotta be like that. It is human nature, but you don't gotta be a shitty fucking person. You actually can change. You actually can think about the shit that you're doing, and you actually can be a better person to people, because I've done it. And I know that, like, me being able to do that and be able to, come back and be like, you know what? I can clap for other people. I can, you know what I'm saying? I can do those things. even if I'm at the beginning of my journey. But that's because, I took that time out to actually carve out my own path and realize that it's a lane that God created solely for me. And as long as I focus on that, I don't have no reason to be jealous of another woman. So in that, I'm able to have grace and compassion for people who have envy and jealousy towards me because I've dealt with it. I understand it. But the determining factor is if you are a person who is honest enough and authentic enough with themselves to where you can be honest with yourself about what you're feeling towards me, and we can work through it together. I talk about it all the time. Like, me and my best friend talk about it in a past episode. Me and my best friend have talked about our own jealousies between each other, and we've been able to work towards that. That moment was very defining for us because we were able to come together and talk about such an icky feeling that's almost embarrassing to feel. Nobody wants to feel jealous. Nobody wants to feel envious, but it's a human emotion. And once we take our power back by just acknowledging that the fact that it's only an emotion and it doesn't define who we are as people, we'll be all right. Once you start to allow jealousy and envy to define you and make you feel like you're a terrible person, it's not going to do anything but fester and push people away because nobody want to be around that shit. Once I feel like you too stuck in your own way and you can't acknowledge your shit, you got to get the fuck from around me because you're in my way and I got shit to do. I also started to learn about Carl Jung, and I learned that there is a process called the individuation process. The individuation process is the process of the journey towards wholeness, self-mastery, those type of things. And then I started to learn that not everyone is chosen for the individuation process. And as a little girl, I say this all the time, I've always known who I was. Even though I didn't know what I wanted to be, because I'm like, I don't have a talent. I don't sing, I don't dance, I don't do any of those things. But I always knew that self-mastery and wholeness and self-development was a part of me getting to where I was going, even if I didn't have the language for it at the time. I always knew I had to be on my motherfucking P's and Q's to get to where I was trying to go. I knew that as a small child. The thing about self-mastery is that it can be isolating because you do begin to realize when you go outside and you start to realize like, oh, okay, like not everybody really gives a fuck about being their highest self. Not everybody really gives a fuck about being who God placed in their hearts to be. Not everybody really gives a fuck about making their dreams come true. And that's fair. I don't give a fuck, to be honest. I was able to look back and realize that I was spending time in spaces with people who see my light but literally felt the need to withhold it because they felt as if they could withhold their praises from me, that I wouldn't see my light. But what y'all don't understand is that there are really people in this world that are destined to create shifts in the world. So it doesn't matter if you acknowledge their light or not. God gonna make a way for them regardless of what the fuck you got going on. Anytime a bitch was ever around me and doubted me, I promise you, and I had some shit going on and they spoke against my plans, God doubled that shit in their face. Promise you that. And it's always gonna be like that for me. So I don't never too much be tripping about shit like that. And there's so many examples that I could come on here and give y'all, but I'm not even that type of person, okay? Just know that me and God know. To whom much is given, much is required. I had to learn how to move gracefully while knowing that I'm chosen, because people like in my 20s, because that's not no shit I'm tolerating in my 30s, but in my 20s, people love to come around me and enjoy the benefits of having a person that's going to pour into them and embrace them and make them feel bigger than what the fuck they made themselves feel, if we being all the way the fuck honest, okay? And I'm a person that speaks life into people. If you're in my life, you know that. If you're my friend, you know that I love to speak life into people. And I cherish my friendships. I had a pattern of allowing people in my life who would take all of that energy from me and give nothing back to me. And the thing about it is, if you're a person in my life, my friend, my tribe, let's keep it funky. My tribe, if you're in my tribe, you know that reciprocity is key. So one of those things that I just can't get down with is people being in my life and taking all of my energy and thinking they're not going to give shit back to me. I don't give a fuck. One thing about me, I tell people this shit all the time. I love my house. I will go the fuck home. Don't play with me. But I had to learn gracefulness. I don't, hold bitterness in my heart towards shit like that. It's whatever. Because at the end of the day, my mission is bigger than me. Because I'm so in tune with my mission and I'm so in tune with the shit that I have to do, I don't really have time to grieve those things. I've always just charged into the game. That shit taught me something. It taught me that it's going to be people that's going to be jealous of you. I'm into astrology. I'm an eighth houser. Jealousy has been my entire life. I'm not tripping about it. From me dealing with it myself to other people projecting that shit onto me. It doesn't matter to me. I don't trip about it. But like I said, working through those emotions allowed me to openly give people grace, because if you're able to see somebody who has worked through their own jealousies and envy, it can possibly give you the courage to work through it on your own and not shame yourself for it, because it's nothing to be ashamed of. It just feels embarrassing because it's an icky emotion, and society shames us for jealousy and envy when they're literally just human emotions that you can work through. Let me tell you what I actually did to work my way through jealousy and envy. One thing that I did is I learned how to train myself to give other people compliments. And one thing about it, I say it all the time, it's never hard to compliment a Black woman. I find complimenting us so easy. And whenever I see another woman and I can recognize a gift that she has, whether she recognized the gift or not, I listen, baby. I'm gonna point it out. I'm gonna tell you about it. I'm gonna give you your props, and I'm gonna show you love, because I think that women, we deserve our flowers. We deserve our flowers while the fuck we're here. So I try to give it to every woman that I come across when I find something about them that is intriguing to me, that is beautiful to me. I find that it's easy for me to see other people's gifts and compliment their gifts because I see it as proof of my own. It's never an issue for me to compliment a woman, like anybody really, but especially women. What matters to me is that there are women in the world who leave me comments, DMs, messages all the time telling me that my testimony, my journey towards self-discovery and healing and self-mastery has helped them restore faith back into themselves. That is what matters to me, okay? That's it. Because I remember going through feeling isolated and feeling alone as I was trying to figure out what was going on with me. And I don't want other women to feel that way, especially other Black women. I don't want y'all to feel like you have to have BPD and go through BPD alone. But what you do have to do is take accountability for your shit, because people don't want to be in community with people who are abusive. And y'all, I know that it's hard to hear, but people with BPD can be abusive. Your behavior can be abusive, and you have to be able to face yourself and tighten the fuck up so that people will actually want to be around you and be in community with you. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that truly matters is love and community. I'm just focused on obeying my calling as a vessel. But I will say I did allow friendship trauma to get to me for a while. I took like 3 years away from Instagram. And I kind of like ghosted some of my friends as well. If you have BPD, you know that when you have people around you who don't like you secretly, it will send you into psychosis. And that's truly what the fuck I was going through for a while. But in that time, I was able to find clarity, and I was also able to see who truly did love me this entire time. And I feel beyond blessed that my friends welcomed me back with open arms, because I would literally have dreams about them, and I'd be like, oh my God, I miss them so much. But I was like, I'm too far gone. Like, I done been gone for too long. They're going to be like, bitch, you're not going to just be popping back up. And that's cool. So I felt extremely guilty and shameful for just disappearing like that. But like I said, I'm blessed that they welcomed me back with open arms. They let me know, like, sister, we don't take your isolation periods personally at all, but disappearing for that long is kind of crazy. And they're absolutely fucking right. Hold me to it, sister. Hold me to it. I'm not mad at it at all. But of course, me being the person that I am, always going to take accountability, and I'm apologize to my friends and let them know, like, bitch, I was really going through it. I was going through psychosis, and I missed you dearly, and I'm sorry. And I have the coping mechanisms now to know the appropriate amount of connection and alone time that I need in order to function and be happy. And I'm able to communicate a lot better. But I am a person that's going to apologize. If I'm wrong, I'm apologizing all day. Okay. But I always knew that I was destined for something great. So I knew that I wanted to be on my P's and Q's when it came to my friends. When I was younger, before I really started to like put in the work towards my own brand, I watched everybody else build their shit. I watched all types of successful people. I watched Wiz Khalifa. I watched MGK. I watched Jacquees and his homeboys. I watched Beyonce's documentaries. I just used to love watching people's journeys towards success. And one thing that I noticed about all of them is that they all had real, genuine friends. And they all also went through really weird things with their friends on their journey to success. And I knew that that was something that I never really wanted to go through. So in my 20s, I did the biggest fucking Rico sweep. And people that I just didn't feel comfortable around. And I just stopped making excuses. I was like, bitch, you really don't fucking like these people. So stop hanging out with them. Just block them and just stop talking to them because they're not even the type of people that's on your same wavelength. So get them the fucks gone. I'm a very caring and I'm a very generous person. And I know that I'm the type of person to share my wealth and my riches with my friends. So I could never have bitches around me that secretly don't fuck with me. So I knew that in my 20s, I had to clean that shit up quick. I swear the other night I was trying to write this podcast and I couldn't even get through this part because I was just sobbing at how blessed I am to be able to have amazing friends and a tribe. I have a village. You know how they say it take a village to raise a child. No, baby, it takes a village to raise a human being, and we raising each other. Okay, we giving each other love. I know for a fact that every one of my friends in my life, I could call them today. Anything could happen to me, I could call them today and be like, yo, I need to come and I need to get away for a few days or a week, and I just need to come and I need to cry, and can you hold me? And they're gonna be coming with open fucking arms. They're gonna have me some food ready and everything. They love their friend. And I'm the same way about my friends. I'm extremely protective of my friends. I'm so protective of my friends. I don't like to see nobody doing my friends wrong. I don't play that shit. Okay? Because these are truly people that I've been through things with and I know their heart. And one thing about my friends don't do shit but go to work, take care of their kids, live in their purpose, and try to elevate and progress. So I know that when people fucking with them, don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Like, they are the most amazing people in the world, and I'm so grateful that I was able to plant that seed of having good friendships and being grounded in a beautiful community that I'm now actually seeing the shit come full circle. I say it all the time. I wouldn't know what real love is without my friends. And I know that it sounds dramatic. It sounds dramatic, but I promise y'all I'm not being dramatic. Me and my friends, we accept every part of each other. And it's so crazy because we're all so different, but our wavelengths are the same. We all are progressing. I was just on the phone with my friends the other day. We about to set up a vision board FaceTime call. Me and my best friend check in all the time and we give each other feedback off of our businesses, okay? My cousins, they just called me this morning. They was like, okay, I thought filming day was yesterday. You need to get up. So I got up, I did my makeup, I did my nails, and I did everything I needed to do to prepare for my podcast. This is what support is. This is what community is. We give and we receive, and we don't feel bad about giving or receiving because we know that it's equal and it isn't always going to be 50-50. Sometimes some of your friends gonna have, and sometimes they not. As women, we don't emphasize our friendships enough, and I'm so grateful that I was ahead of the motherfucking curve when it came to that, because I know for a fact in this life I will never be lonely because I have the best friends in the whole wide world. And then on top of everything else, they're prayer warriors. Anytime we need to pray, just call one of them. You want to pray? Can we pray? We pray all the time. We pray about everything. We pray about the good things. We pray about the bad things. We pray about the things that's giving us anxiety and worry, fear, everything. And another thing that I feel blessed enough to do is witness the different friendships that are within my friendship groups and see the bonds between everyone. I feel blessed to be able to see that because it's beautiful. Like, all of us have a different and special bond with one another. And I have friends from my hometown. I got friends from the military, and they're post as well. And, I feel like my friends have set the standard for the type of people that I want to allow into my life. So I'm very, very strict when it comes to friendships. I run a tight fucking ship because that is one thing that I know about being successful. And I had that shit in my mind from the beginning. I said, yeah, I don't know how the fuck y'all be doing it, being around bitches that don't support you. I don't play that shit. My friends support me. And one thing about it is that they are all gifted in their own way. I could literally go down the list and tell you every single gift that my friends have that nobody else in the world can do fucking better than them, okay? And I might do a whole episode podcast about them because they're fucking amazing. Yeah, child, any of my friends could get us the fuck out the hood. Like, they're that gifted, they're that talented. And I'm just so grateful that I have them and that our support for each other and our love for each other runs extremely deep. And we will forever be in love with each other because that's just the life that God wanted me to experience, okay? And a life full of love. And I want to also talk about, I did a podcast a while ago about being born to love and about being a lover girl. And I feel like for me in my 20s, I focused that energy much on relationships and I was disappointed so much. And I finally have come to a realization in my life that it was like a point where I had to go through life and just like be single for like 2 years, okay? Before I met my current girlfriend. And in that time, I learned that being a lover girl was more about me having attachment issues than it was about me actually wanting to find love and like being in love and stuff like that. And I had to really work through that. And now I'm in a space where it's like, wow. When I say this was a real epiphany that I had in therapy, I remember being on my therapist's couch and I was just sobbing. I was like, oh my gosh. My best friend has been with me since I was 13 years old. She's seen me at so many versions of myself, and she still loves me. That's crazy. And I was just sobbing. And then I woke up one day and I said, hold up. I got a tribe of people that have seen me at multiple versions of myself and still fucking love me. Do you know how rare that is? Not every day people don't get to fucking experience that, okay? So I make sure that if you my friend, you in my circle, I'm going to take care of you. You know what's crazy? I even bought my house because I was thinking ahead. I understood that, bitch, I saw the country was going, bitch, if I don't think about the future, who going to think about the future? I knew the country was going to shit years ago. Okay? I said I got to get a house because if anything fucking pop off, everybody could come to my shit, okay? And I'm that type of person. I love people very, very deeply, and I'm not fucking changing myself just because the world is callous and cold and disgusting. I ain't gonna lie, I hit the fucking jackpot. I said my friends are my greatest prayer. They my greatest prayer. Because that's the one thing that I prayed for in my whole life was being loved. And these people love me deep, 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 okay? And vice the fuck versa. I don't play, okay? I could be doing anything, anywhere. If my friends call me, the first thing I'm asking is, you okay? Because if you're not okay, I will drop what I'm doing and I'm coming. I came here to serve humanity, and I can't serve humanity if my basic needs aren't being met. And love and belonging is a basic need. And I'm just grateful that I got it. I got more than what I could have asked for. And one thing I want to do next year is take more pictures with my friends and actually post them on my Instagram feed. I want to show the world that I got some great friends. They're really cool people, and I would want to do life with these people in every single lifetime. I love them so much, and I'm even so blessed to have cousins that are a part of my tribe. And I say it all the time. I take my titles in life very seriously. I'm a little cousin, but I'm also a big cousin, and I take those titles seriously. I take my TT title. That's my very serious title right there. Don't play with that title. My babies know I'm going to step for them. My friends and their kids, like, I love their children so much. I love that all of them were intentional about the names that they gave their children. They're amazing parents. I could just go on and on about these people. They inspire me. I cannot wait to be a mom and be if I'm lucky to even be half of what they are. I already know I've exceeded in the parent department because they're amazing. I'm grateful to be in community with people, and I'm grateful for people to feel like they are in community with me, and it's reciprocal. Every lover girl's prayer should be a tribe of people who will never, ever, 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 ever leave your side. We tell each other this all the time. So, yeah. In my time away from Instagram, I was able to build on TikTok. I built a community and a following over there. And it just proved to me that the audience is out there. The audience of people who need to see my testimony are out there, And I always used to say, I used to say it all the time in my old podcast, like, yeah, there are people in the world that are attached to my purpose. So I have to make it come to life, because if I don't, then it's going to be people in the dark that just don't get it, or God gonna pass that shit on to the next person. And I can't let that happen. I can't let that happen. One thing I will say is that being on TikTok is such an inconsistent app, but one thing that it taught me is that you should never be attached to virality and numbers, because it doesn't matter. What you should be attached to is your purpose. Do you feel good about the art that you're putting out, the creativity, the videos that you're putting out? Do you feel good about that? Do you feel good about the impact that you're making? I feel like, as a woman who has always known that she would have influence and power, because I always wanted it, because I knew I would do right by it, not just for the fuck of it. I could give a fuck, okay? That's not to be taken lightly. You need to take influence and power on as if you want to honor it with your whole life. And for me, the only thing that matters beyond the numbers and being viral is impact and refining my character, so that I can fully step into the position that God has given me.